Welcome back to Big Nick's Meats and Treats. Today we're doing a road trip in Spokane, Washington, down by Gonzaga University. We're at my buddy's pizza place and we're gonna try and get the nitty gritty on how to make awesome pizza. This is DiNardi's Pizza and Pasta. All right, we're at DiNardi's Pizza and Pasta. This is my buddy Ciro. He's the owner and operator of the pizza parlor here. Ciro, how did you get into the pizza business?
I was basically born into it. My father owned a pizzeria in Yonkers, New York. He opened up in 1964. He immigrated to this country when he was 14 years old. He had his first pizzeria when he was 19. He moved, that was in Brooklyn. It was a small little place. He opened when he wanted. He just did slices. He didn't really... You know, maybe he made 10 or 15 slice pies a day. And,
okay.
You know, he was 19 years old. I mean, if he made $40 in that day, it was awesome, you know. So, and then he thought bigger, like, hey, people love this, you know, this pizza thing. So let's, you know. So he went and got a big place in Yonkers, and it was more of a restaurant and a pizzeria.
And you worked there as a kid?
Yeah. I think I was like 11 years old when I started answering phones and working on the counter. Originally, I would just do the Italian ices, and then I worked my way up. Because, you know, being 11 years old and putting your arm in one of these things is a little intimidating.
Right.
Yeah, so didn't take long until I was, handing out slices. And then by the time I was 14 or 15, I was making pizzas.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what kind of pizza do you make here at DiNardi's?
Over here, we do a New York-style pizza. So that's kind of like your thin and crispy. It's not like a Neapolitan style where it's like that thick crust that everybody's trying to get that press.
So Neapolitan's going to be thicker.
Yes. Okay. The reason for that is they use a 00 flour. It's a very, very fine flour.
Okay.
And that type of flour is designed for very hot temperatures, 900 degrees, 1,000 degrees.
And
whatever.
New York style is going to be thinner.
Yep, thinner. You're not cooking as hot. You're still cooking pretty hot. Okay. About 550.
Okay, so is it going to be a crispier crust in for New York style versus Neapolitan would be
Neapolitan has that char look.
Be more chewy though.
Yeah, but you're not getting that crisp. It's more of a chew. You know, It has a little bit of a crunch to it, but not like that. What you're going to get with a real crispy New York style pie.
Nice. Well, let's talk about how we're going to make the dough. So I've been experimenting with all kinds of different pizza doughs, and I think I have a pizza dough I really, really like. It works out really well. It stretches nice, and it puffs up real nice when I cook it. But what do you consider to be the key to a really good pizza dough?
Key to a really good pizza dough, obviously it depends on what style of pizza dough you're making, especially like what we're going to make today. A Neapolitan, obviously ingredients is always important. Using a good ingredient is always going to give a better result.
And those ingredients are going to be what? Double-aught flour?
Double-aught flour. I like to use Caputo.
That's like, the brand name?
Yeah, that's the brand name. That's like the cream of the crop, you know, for a double-aught. And then I use Caputo Semolina when I stretch out the flour. That's kind of like
semolina?
Yeah, semolina.
Okay. Right.
And then
what about what type of salt do you use? Kosher or
sea salt?
Sea salt.
Sea salt with Neapolitan. If it's my regular New York style for the restaurant, it's just regular table salt. Okay,
and then water and yeast, right? Basically?
Water and yeast. Yeah, a lot of people like to put oil in their dough. Oil's probably. I just have a little bit of oil in the bottom of the poulish just to get it out, but I just put a very, very little bit on the bottom of the pan just so it comes out. I'm not adding oil into the dough. Oil's probably one of the worst things to put with a Neapolitan style dough.
And then with this typical Neapolitan process that you do here in the restaurant, we've talked about this before, it's like a 2-day process or whatever?
Yes. Normally Neapolitan is always better with like a 3-day fermentation. The style we're going to do today is the same day Neapolitan.
So what a home cook would do.
Yeah, exactly. Because nobody wants to, if they're making dough or pizza at the house, nobody wants to make it on Tuesday and then wait till Friday.
So how does that differ from what you do here in the restaurant?
What we do in the restaurant's kind of a slow and low rise. We make the dough, we use a 60-quart dough mixer. We make a 50-pound bag of flour at a time. And we roll it, and then we put it directly into the walk-in. And let's say we make it like today, if we make it at 2 o'clock, it'll be ready tomorrow by 11 o'clock.
So your proof is in the fridge?
Yes, overnight, at least. It's at least 16 hours, you know, like slow and low.
Okay, and then do you do a second proof after you
No.
split it?
What I'll do is we'll take it out, and before you're making, it's got to sit out for about 30 minutes to an hour before you actually make the pizza with it. But it doesn't need a second proof, not the New York style.
Okay, and do you split it before you put it into
the? Yeah,
okay.
We make a big bowl, comes out onto this table. We just start cutting and weighing and rolling, and that's it. And then we tray them up, and then it goes right in the walk-in.
Well, let's make some home-style Neapolitan dough. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Boom.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to make a Neapolitan dough.
Correct.
Same-day dough, the way a home cook would do it,
exactly.
Right? Okay, and we talked about this a little bit, and it sounds like it's completely opposite of the way I would do it.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, yeah.
So talk me through it. First, tell me about this poulish, which I'd never heard about.
Here's the poulish. This is a same-day dough, but technically it's not, because yesterday I had to make the poulish. Poulish takes, about 5 minutes to make.
And for people that don't know, this is kind of like a starter for bread,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Poulish, they call it a starter, a mother, a father, whatever you want to call it.
So how do you make the poulish?
So this is a 100% hydration.
Okay.
300 grams of flour, 00 flour, Caputo preferably.
Okay.
300 grams of water.
So 1 to 1.
Yep.
Okay.
5 grams of dry yeast. I even use Caputo yeast. I like it. Comes in this little jar. It's good for Neapolitan. And then as you're mixing it, just a squirt of honey. Just a little bit of sugar there to get that yeast activated.
No salt?
No salt in the poulish. No.
Okay.
We're only going to put salt in our dough.
And I think we talked a little bit off camera. You said cold water.
Cold water.
No kidding. That blows my mind.
As cold as you can get it. A lot of when guys make this in restaurants and they're doing huge batches, they'll add actually ice cubes into their dough.
No kidding.
As it's mixing.
And you would do this the day before?
Yes. Poulish needs at least 16 hours.
Okay.
After you make it, let it sit out for about 20, 30 minutes and then put it in the refrigerator. Cover
Great.
it. Keep it covered. You always want to cover anything when it comes to dough.
So how are we going to make the dough?
Flour, you start off with your poulish. So we're going to put our poulish in there.
All right, so talk me through this process.
All right, so we're going to start off with our poulish. We're going to dump the poulish in here.
And you're using all of it?
All of it, yeah.
Okay.
So I put some oil in here to keep it from sticking. That's the only time I'll ever really use like an oil.
Okay.
If it gets a little stuck in there, no big deal. I don't think a tin was exactly the greatest thing to store this in, but
that's all right. We were asking you to do something out of the norm, so that's fine.
We're just going to try and get most of this out. Obviously, it doesn't.
Okay. So we got 300 grams of flour, 300 grams of cold water, and 5 grams of yeast.
Exactly, and a little squirt of honey.
For 16 hours.
16 hours, refrigerated. Okay. And like I said, the honey is not there for flavor, so don't think, you're not doing it just to you're not doing it for any type of flavor. It's just to give a little fuel to the yeast.
Okay, and so the next thing you're going to do is add.
We're going to add. Now we're at the dough.
Okay.
This is a 75 or 80% hydration Neapolitan style dough.
Okay.
Which means we have 1,100 grams of 00 Caputo flour. And we have 700 grams of cold water, cold water.
Blows my mind.
Blows your mind, I know. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
What I did with the ice cold water, so this is measured to 700 grams, and then I took a cup out, just 1 cup out, and I'll show you why here in a second.
Okay.
So we're going to add in.
So you're putting the cold water right on top of the poulish.
Right on top of that poulish.
Okay.
And then we're going to dump in our flour.
1,100 grams of double hot.
Now, if you wanted to put 80% of this in there and then add a little more and go slowly with it, you could do all that. It's not really that necessary.
Okay.
I only have a 1-speed machine. It is nice to start off on a lower speed and then, add it up and then turn it up as it's really going, but it's also not necessary.
Okay, and then when do you add the salt?
That's something we're going to add as it's mixing.
I see. Okay.
I could probably dump it in now.
Okay, so we're going to add salt, and you use sea salt, correct?
Sea salt, correct.
Why that over kosher salt?
I just think you get a better result with the sea salt.
As far as flavor goes?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it both. Is it a huge difference? Probably not. But personally, I just think, you get a better result. Plus, I know this is just what all the old timers in Italy were using. And when they tell you, originally, everybody hears different recipes here and there, and then you kind of tweak your own thing. And, you know, when I hear a lot of the old timers are using this stuff, that's what makes you kind of go to it, you know.
And how long will you need this?
18 to 20 minutes. At 18 minutes, I'm going to take a look at it. Yeah. And what I'm going to be doing is
18 to 20 minutes.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. Once it starts to look more like a ball of dough, I'll start adding the water in.
So when it starts to pull away from the sides,
yeah, I usually give it like a minute to mix, and then I start adding water. And all I'm doing is cooling it off by adding a little bit more water. And I would say by my 14 or 15 minute mark is when all that water should be in there. And then at 18 minutes, if it looks good, I'll stop it then. You don't ever want to go past 20 though. 20 is perfect, is the final end point.
So let's talk a little bit about sauce. You know, one thing that's always bothered me with pizza is I have an onion and garlic allergy, and I know your sauce is very friendly to me.
Yes.
Can we talk about how you make the sauce?
For a Neapolitan pizza, very, very simple. I have to use San Marzano tomatoes. For me, it's the only thing.
That much of a difference?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For this style of a pizza.
So are these whole or crushed, or is this a
whole,
sauce?
Beautiful tomatoes.
Okay.
They are right out of Napoli. This is San Marzano. This is literally Salerno is where my father's from. Okay. These are Sarnese. These are literally right where, like, from his town.
Okay.
Beautiful tomatoes.
There's nothing in there but tomatoes.
That's it.
Okay.
I might, if you want, well, you don't want to cut your hands. So,
yeah.
It is nice to get all that out. I don't even add any water. Some people add a little bit of water to get that out.
Okay.
It's not worth it. And I just crush them by hand. I'll start off with each tomato, each plum. I'll go gentle because I don't want it splashing up everywhere.
It's pretty old school.
Yeah, this is as old school as it gets. And this is good stuff. I mean, if you put it in a blender, you destroy it. It purees it. Just comes out. I don't care how
You still want the chunks.
Yes. You want it to be chunky. You want it to, you just want it to have that hardiness. And oh man, these are such beautiful tomatoes.
It smells really good.
Yeah, they blend up so nice. They crush up so good too. Yeah, and once you get it, nice and...
Now, do you even simmer this or anything like that?
No.
Or, so you just you're putting fresh tomatoes on there.
That's it.
Okay.
It's such a thin layer that goes on a pizza that you don't need to cook it.
Okay.
It's going to cook right in that oven. Whether you do a 90-second or a 2-minute, 2-minute cook because your oven's at 900 degrees, or if you're just cooking at 500 degrees,
right,
this sauce is going to cook no matter how you look at it.
All right, so what's the next thing we're going to add to the tomatoes?
Now we're going to add a little basil.
Ooh, boy, that smells good.
Doesn't it, right? I love basil. And you don't need, too much. And all I'm doing is just breaking it up a little bit. I'm not going crazy.
Oh,
I'm not going to sit there and chop it.
Pretty good size hunks.
Yeah, good size hunks. You're doing this for flavor. We only used 1 can. We're not making that much sauce here. So, we're just going to... Everything's by eye. You can do it by eye or to taste. This is so simple, this sauce. I think we're good right there.
Okay.
And now we're going to do a little sea salt.
Okay.
And that's just to taste, too. I'm not going to go crazy here. I'd say
so it looks like a teaspoon, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's plenty. Boom.
So we're just going to mix this up now?
That's it. Yeah, just give it a little mix. Some people like to put some black pepper in their sauce. It's okay. You want to add some black pepper.
Nice.
I wouldn't put much.
No sugar, none of that.
No,
okay.
You don't need anything with these kind of
just tomatoes, basil, and salt. That's
it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, that's great for a guy with a garlic allergy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And all you're gonna do with sugar is sweeten it, and you're not really looking for sweet with this.
Right.
Personally, I'm not. I know most Italians are not gonna be trying to make it sweet.
Good. All right.
You want to taste that tomato.
Let's see how our dough's doing. All right, so the dough's about done, right? So it's pulled away from the sides. It's looking nice and fluffy.
When you hear that popping, that's a good sound too. That popping, that's the air building up in it. That's where you're getting all that fermentation going on.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and pull it then. Nice.
Shut her down.
Boy, that looks so much different than the dough I do.
Does it really?
Yeah, can I feel it? I wash my hands.
Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, it's sticky.
Yeah, it's sticky. Yeah.
Holy moly, that's sticky. That's
that's
paper mache glue.
80% hydration right there.
Wow. Okay. All right, so he's going ahead and pulling the dough out of the bowl here. Super sticky dough.
It's the easiest thing to do, but...
And then as a home cook, we're going to proof this for how long you think?
So what we would do with this, since it's the same day style dough, we would let this sit for like 20 minutes right now once we get it into one ball.
And then it would be ready to use after that?
Well, then after we'll cut it into our portions.
Okay.
Which I usually go about 230 grams.
And you said
per
this,
dough.
the recipe you gave us would make about 8 or 9 pizzas?
Yeah, I think this would make about, I'd say at least, about 8 or 9.
So you're going to rest it whole for 20 minutes and then portion it?
Exactly.
And then proof again after that?
Yep, then it's going to sit outside for 1 to 2 hours. You want it to double in size.
Okay, double in size.
Yeah, and
Okay.
once it looks doubled in size, you're ready to roll.
And even with the cold water, it's going to rise, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about stretching dough. I've made a lot of pizzas at home, and the hardest part for me, by far, is stretching the dough consistently, evenly, not tearing it, and things like that. I see we have some of your New York style dough here, and this has been proofing for how long?
This one here about 40 hours.
Okay, and we're going to stretch this?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
We'll
go
make
through
a
the
cheese
process.
house pie.
Show me how you do it.
So when I'm doing New York style, it's a different process than a Neapolitan style. You could be a little more aggressive with the New York, whereas the Neapolitan, it's very sticky, it's very soft. You have to be like delicate almost.
Okay.
And you don't want to touch the crust. You want to leave a nice thick crust on a Neapolitan. You don't want to do that on a New York style. So
Crust
it's okay.
being the outside, you
The
mean?
outer side,
Okay,
yeah.
uh-huh.
That's what when you hear a New Yorker say crust, they don't mean like the whole.
The whole pie.
Yeah,
They're
they
talking
just
the
mean
outer
like-
edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pizza bone.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna go right into our flour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Look at that. You can always tell when a dough is fermented right. It has that, just that hydrated, fermented look.
Right, right. So you dump it right into the flour.
Right in there. And then I'll get a little on my board like that. And now for a New York style, like I said, if I was doing a Neapolitan, I'm going to just push it out and I'm going to go very gentle and I want to save this crust.
Yeah, you're trying to
here.
build that
Yeah,
crust.
I'm
Okay.
not doing that with a New York style though. With a New York style, plus you don't have the time. I could have tickets lined up all over here. Each of them ranging from 2 to 5 pizzas on every ticket. You got to be quick.
Right.
So once you get it to about here,
And that dough is nice. It doesn't retract much.
no, it's really nice. I'm going to add a little bit of flour on the top because it's.
And then would this be considered a medium?
This is going to be a large.
It's going to be a large. so
Yeah,
it's-
we're going to
okay.
make it for slices.
Okay.
I'll flip it over, and then I go
Oh,
like this.
so here's how the master does it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I could see that
This
being.
is the quickest, most efficient way, in my personal opinion. My father doesn't make it like this, but he's got his own style. Now, the more you stretch like that, yes, you're releasing the gases, which means it might not be as soft as it possibly could be. But like I said, we're not going for that thick, Neapolitan where I'm going to cut it with
So
scissors.
Yeah,
and
you're
all
going
that.
through the thinner.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is a true New York style.
Okay.
So once you get to about there, now we're gonna do it with our hands.
Just flopping it back and forth.
That's
and-
it. Go nice and easy. As you get experience, you can go faster and faster.
Now, what I've noticed is when I start doing stuff like this, I get a tear.
you get a tear. Yeah,
So what do you do if you get a tear?
you can fix it. You
can
just
fix it.
you just
can-
repair it.
Okay.
That's what are you gonna do? Should I make a tear and then we'll show you what to do?
That's up to you. Show me.
Yeah, why not?
What would you do if you tore it?
So we got a little tear right there, right?
Okay.
This is my first day on the job. I was a little nervous. I got a tear.
Wow,
on
look
there.
how much that stretched out.
You know what are you
Wow.
gonna do? What are you gonna say? Oh my gosh, let's throw this out. To be honest with you, maybe in the restaurant I probably would throw it out. No, I don't think so. All you gotta do is that's it.
Just pull it over.
That's it. You're fixed.
Mind blown.
Yeah, it's not like fixing a hole in your wall
Mind
or
blown.
nothing. That takes a little
I can't
more of
believe
an
how much
effort.
that stretched out.
It's crazy, right?
And is it stretch and hold so good because of the fermentation process?
Yes.
Because I know, like some of the doughs I've used, you go to stretch and then it goes
like
back.
elastic.
It
yeah,
goes.
it just
It's
comes
like
right
a
back.
rubber band.
Yeah.
So the fermentation process
yeah,
really
that
makes
has
it.
not fermented enough.
Okay.
If it's just coming back at you like a rubber band, yeah, it needs a.
Yeah,
You're
that
hours
looks
away.
awesome, and it's even round, which
Yeah,
is
not bad.
more than I can say about the
Yeah.
pizzas I make. That's good.
For being quick under pressure. This is
Yeah.
This would be a good size for our large pie. For a house pie, I usually go a little thinner, a little bigger. Just a little bit though. I don't want to overdo it.
So that's almost like 18 inches or something.
Yeah,
right
it's 18
there.
inches.
Okay.
And then the longer you play around, more likely it'll get stuck on the board. So at that point is when you kind of got to be a little fast.
All right, but your board is floured before you put it on.
Yeah, I put a little bit of flour. You don't want to put too much flour. If you know you're gonna be.
Now,
like,
do you normally make it on the peel?
I do, yes.
You normally make
it. For New York style, you got to make it on a peel.
You got to make it on the peel.
Yeah, there's no putting it on here and pulling it over. They're just too big.
Now, what about Neapolitan style? Would you do it on the board and then try to put it on the peel?
Yes, Neapolitan style, I would make it right on here and you slide it on your peel. That's a whole different style peel too. It's usually a metal peel. It's mesh.
I use a metal peel.
Yeah, and it's a little,
So for New York style, you'd want a wood peel.
Yep, wood peel for a deck oven.
Okay, and better. Good mozzarella cheese that you grate yourself.
Oh yeah,
right?
We grate this ourselves. This is grande. This is a mixture of whole milk and part skim.
And I find if I grate my own cheese, you're not getting the preservatives and stuff too. So you're just getting the cheese.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And then another thing, when you're buying it pre-grated, you got preservatives and you have decaking agents that they put in it so they don't get all stuck together.
Okay.
It's almost, some of them even use a flour. So if you
now you just eyeball it as far as how much cheese you put on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't weigh it or nothing.
Okay.
We're good right about there.
Good. All right, so we're ready to put this in the oven. We're just making a cheese pie. What temperature do you cook these at?
This deck oven, baker's pie, we're at 550 right
And how long are you going to cook that for?
About 8-9 minutes.
Okay, so for a home cook whose oven only gets to 500 degrees, how would you recommend they cook?
They might take about 12 minutes, 12, 13 minutes.
So do it at 500 though.
500 degrees. Put your pizza stone in there. When that oven is fully at its 500, you still got to wait at least about 45 minutes with that pizza stone. It takes time.
500 with a stone that's preheated.
Yes, very, very hot. You want to let that stone get to the 500, which takes a lot longer than just the oven.
Okay, cool. Well, let's throw this thing in the oven.
You got it. We're going to go in the back right for our first one. It cooks a little faster back there.
All right, Ciro has enough confidence in me to let me try and stretch one of my own, and I'm going to do it under the supervision of the boss here. So we got the dough in the flour. I want to flip it over, right?
Yeah,
okay. Get both sides.
Covered up.
Okay. And then
get a little on that board.
Get a little flour on the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And then you put the dough right on there.
Right over here.
On here.
Start your stretch on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of want to work it around like so.
Oh, look, you're a natural. You're over here saying it's not going to look good.
Hey, I'm just getting started. Let's not hold your breath. Okay, and then you were kind of like going like this.
Yeah, if you want, flip it over.
Flip it over.
Yeah,
okay.
now try it. It might smooth. It might. Yeah, see, it spins a little.
Oh, I like how this dough, it doesn't retract, which is
nice, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
That's the fermentation. That's all it takes. You know, a nice slow and low.
This dough makes me look like I actually know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And when it comes with New York style dough too, like ratios, the yeast ratio, water ratio, a lot has to do with it. And that, for me to sit here and explain it on a video, it takes years. I mean, there's a science to it. I got to know if it's going to be cold tomorrow, or even the outside air temperature has so much to do with it, even though it's rising in a refrigerator.
So how much do I spread this around like this before I start?
If you want to go to your hands now,
okay,
that looks really good.
So now I'm going to start flopping this around.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Is that not how you do it at home though?
Well, I try to, but I usually end up getting a hole in it.
That's all right. We learned how to fix our holes.
It's getting bigger, I think. Do you flop it back and forth at all, or you just spin it?
I usually just spin it. If you want to flop it back and forth, if that's
I'm scared.
More comfortable for you.
Whoa, it's getting big.
Yeah, it's getting there. We might have a little thicker of a pizza, but that's all right.
So this would make me nervous here. Like that's gonna
it's a thin spot.
That's gonna end up being a tear. So what do I want to do to?
At this point, I would just keep going. So what you would want to do at this point, if you can, so now you know that's your thin spot.
Yeah.
Try to get to your thicker areas and just work with those. Try to leave the dough rather than lift it up. Try to leave it on the table.
So that area is supported by the
I gotcha. And if you leave it on the table, and when you get to your thicker areas, just try and stretch those guys out a little bit.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
My mind is blown right now, Ciro.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because the longer you do it, you as you're going around and flipping it around, you just like instinctively know where the thicker parts are, and that's just where my hands go.
It's crazy how good this dough is to work with. I can tell that part of the problem I have with my home pizzas is my dough is not fermented long enough or something, because I get some retraction where this
that's a
doesn't
big
even
part of
seem
it.
like it retracts at all.
No,
very
it's
little.
all about the rise.
Now this would be considered a large, or is this your house?
This would be a large.
Okay.
Yeah, large is perfect.
Okay.
Let's have you make a pie.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's looking good, Nick. There you go.
All right.
I would go like a level scoop of sauce.
A level scoop of sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. And you start in the middle and just
Start in the middle and just give her a little.
kind of
beautiful.
spin around, huh?
This is the fun part.
I know. I actually feel like I know what I'm doing.
In New York style, we try.
You go all the way to the edges, or do
we
you
try to
avoid the?
We don't want to spill over, but we usually go pretty close. You usually
Where Neapolitan, you want to leave the.
Yeah, you want to be like an inch away at least.
Leave the crust, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Try to make that as evenly as
That
possible.
looks good.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. That look all
Really
right?
Nice.
And then on the cheese, you got any method, or you just kind of?
Yeah, I like to probably maybe do the outer.
And work your way
first.
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, when it comes to especially a good mozzarella, like a little bit goes a long way. It really does.
Because it melts so nice.
Oh yeah, this is awesome cheese.
And
I think I might even.
what'd you say the milk fat was in this?
It's a mixture of whole milk and part skim.
Oh, okay. How's that? Is that enough, or?
Yeah, that looks good. You want to put any toppings? We got pepperoni. On the other side, you got sausage.
Let's put some pepperoni on there.
Yeah, help yourself.
You use a special kind of pepperoni, or what kind of pepperoni you use?
This is Boar's Head. So, I mean,
That's the
Boar's
brand?
Head, that's the brand. And it's just regular thin sliced pepperoni for pizza.
Okay. And then
Boar's Head's amazing, if you ask me. I'm about using a good product. I'm going to choose Boar's Head over, let's say.
is that
Hormel.
available commercially, or do you have to get it online? Or
You can buy Boar's Head commercially, I believe. Here in the Pacific Northwest, I want to say like Fred Meyer's has them.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and more and more people are starting. I think even Safeways, some Safeways are starting to carry Boar's Head too.
Oh, no kidding. Nice. And then how much pepperoni would you put on here?
That's starting to look good. I'd maybe just fill up your little areas.
Little gaps there.
And yeah, you're looking good.
Yeah. See. I might have
That's all right.
I might have a future in the pizza business.
I think so.
Boom.
I think I might be able to take another day off. Looks good. Looks good.
All right, so then we're going to throw this in at 525 or something?
550 we're at.
550
Yeah.
for 10 to 12 minutes?
Yep. Yeah. So I'll
Oh.
just make her a little bit bigger here, just like that.
Nice.
Looking good. You want to throw her in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's put a little, because I see a wet spot right here. So I'm going to put a little flour.
Oh, so it comes off the
yeah,
peel.
just so she doesn't get caught on you.
Okay, and then
And
when,
another
at
trick
least
you
on
could
mine,
do-
I know when I go in there, I kind of jerk the
If
peel.
you're going to do that, one trick you could do is that right there.
Okay, and what does that do?
Just put some air on it. Now look.
Oh, see?
Yeah. But when you do that, you want to make sure she doesn't come all the way.
Is
that
that a
close.
wood peel thing, or I can do that on any
It's
peel?
a wood peel thing. If you got a mesh metal one, it's probably not going to work.
Okay, we're gonna put this in
Open
here.
guy up for you.
Okay, where do you want it?
Wherever you can put it, we're good. We're good. Look at that!
Boom!
What a pro!
Wow! Look at that.
And our first cheese pie is almost ready. We obviously want a little crispier than that,
Okay.
so we're going to give it a little longer. Now for slices, I probably would have took that out as it is.
Okay.
Because I don't want to overcook it when I'm selling it for slices.
And it's gonna be sitting under the heat lamp and all that anyway.
We
right?
don't use a heat lamp here.
Oh, you
we
don't?
we
Okay.
reheat the slices as somebody orders it. So
Oh, you
that's why
do?
they get a nice crisp. Oh, yeah.
You reheat
They're
them in
sitting
the
there
oven?
Yeah. When
Oh.
they cool off and they've been sitting there for 15, 20 minutes, someone orders a slice, we just throw it in the oven for half a minute or a minute.
Just to put a crisp back on it.
That's awesome. Man.
Oh, nice. All right, I think the only thing left to do is to eat this bad
Let's
boy.
do it. I'm sure we
Pull it
got a
out.
nice crispy pie coming out right now. And nothing is better than a plain cheese pie. You can ask any New Yorker that. Just a plain cheese pie.
Okay.
Right? One
All
bite,
right.
everybody knows the rules, right? Isn't that
Yep.
what it says?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
This is probably gonna light my mouth on fire, isn't
Want
it?
to hear? Yeah, it's gonna be really hot. Oh, that crunch! Isn't that just a?
Yeah, it's really crunchy.
Oh man.
I think we'll let you slice it, and then we'll let it cool down for a minute before
Before we start
burn
out.
the roof before we burn the roofs of our mouths
Yeah.
off. All right, I'm ready to bite into this pizza. Hopefully it doesn't burn the roof of my mouth off. Let's go ahead and
get you a good piece right here.
holy cow, look at that. So this is new for me because normally I can't have sauce on pizza because it always has garlic salt in it. So I'm kind of excited. Kind of excited about it. Oh yeah, look at that crust. Nice.
Not bad, huh? No
nice
flop.
on the bottom. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's hot.
I really miss pizza sauce. That is so good.
Good stuff, right?
So good. Crust is nice and crunchy.
What a good tomato does.
That's good. You can really tell that's a good high quality cheese too.
Yeah.
Really good.
Grande is a little company inside in Wisconsin. They only sell to distribution centers, and they only sell to a few select distribution. They won't sell to everybody.
Right.
So their idea was to keep it in the mom and pop pizzeria community.
Well, Ciro, I can't thank you enough for letting us come here
Anytime.
today. I really
I
learned so much about making pizza.
That's cool.
Absolutely amazing. Next
Awesome.
time you guys are in Spokane, Washington, come see my buddy Ciro at DiNardi's Pizza and Pasta in Spokane near Gonzaga University. We'll be doing another video soon. Make sure you tell your friends and family about us. Give us a like and a subscribe. Until then, watch me work, baby. Watch me work.